I'm always looking to trade for off-world goods. Sure thing. I'm also interested in buying if you have anything for sale. Enjoy the rest of your day.
There are times I envy those who are...
Take a look.
Careful. There are some dangerous areas around here that aren't part of any tours.
If you need medical attention, see Dr. Lakota. But...
Well, I suppose this is one way to make a living. And if New Homestead deems it necessary.
That tour guide showed one of the kids a picture of some silly drawing he saw in Sidonia.
Those folks
Now
in
I feel
Sidonia
like it's
may be
popping up
close
everywhere.
forever, but we
Warm
do a better
food,
job
cold drinks.
preserving its
What else could you
traditions.
want? Welcome. I'm Anya. Is this your first time with us at the Brown Horse Tavern? Oh, well, thank you for joining us. You're in for a real treat. We've got an assortment of food and drinks, some of which follow homemade recipes that have been passed down over hundreds of years. So, what can I do for you? You mean the Brown Horse? Well, it's only the longest continuous running restaurant since humans started settling outside of Earth. There's a lot of history within these walls, and some damn fine food and drink, if I say so myself. This place has been in my family for generations. My however many great-grandmother opened it when the first colony started on Titan. Back then, it was a simple mess hall that she chose to put a little extra love and flavor into. And now, it's the pride of New Homestead. Oh, hardly. The locals pretty much stay away from chunks, so whenever they don't feel like cooking themselves and want a fresh meal, they come to me. Only the tourists eat that junk. But don't tell that to my husband. He manages the chunks. I love him, but he's a bit of a fanatic about it. Can I still help you? Let me show you what we have. Hope you'll be back sometime.
It's so cold here. I guess I should have... Expected that.
It's a little weird that people come here to see what early colony life was like. To me, it's
Sure
just how
would
we
be
live.
nice to get off-world sometime.
So there.
I still can't believe people actually live like this.
Do you want to know what life was like for the early colonists? Starsap Tours was voted Best Historic Tour 3 years in a row. Why, hello there! I'm Bill Starsap of Starsap Tours. Let me tell you, this place is full of history and interesting facts. For instance, did you know that New Homestead was one of the first colonies established outside of Earth? It's been populated in some capacity for over 200 years. Well, there's plenty more where that came from if you're interested in taking one of my famous tours. So what do you say? I've got an opening. I could take you on a tour right now if you'd like. Excellent! You won't regret it. My tours are one of a kind. Now, there's just the matter of price. The going rate for a genuine Starsap tour is only 100 credits. Great! Let's get this show on the road, eh? All right, so this is New Homestead's main concourse. This underground area didn't exist when the original outpost, Titan Astrobase, was finished in 2130. Follow me. We'll come back here by the end of the tour and talk about the museum collection. But first, let's go see where people live. Now, remember, these people aren't actors. They actually live here, so try to be respectful of that. While the original inhabitants of the Titan Astrobase lived in pods like you saw up above, they transitioned down here when this section of the base was finished in 2144. Space is extremely limited, so you'll notice some overflow here, but more residences also exist on lower levels, which are inaccessible to tours. I'll stop at each of our destinations if you want to look around, or if you have any questions for me.
I'll treat you if you need it, but please try to be more careful around here. If you take one of those stupid tours, make sure to follow the rules. They're for your own safety. Even though we don't have shiny new medical facilities, I imagine it's easier than wherever you're from. We have fewer people here, and we're very responsible when it comes to our personal health and welfare. So there's not much I can't handle. For anything else, we can get access to off-world specialists. Contrary to popular belief, we're not primitive. It's a harsh world, but as long as you're inside or wear a suit when going out, you'll be fine here. There's no breathable air on the surface, and you'll quickly freeze to death outside without protective gear, but otherwise the hazards are minimal. New Homestead was an early colony research base and has stood the test of time. It's safe, and it's proof that people can live pretty much anywhere. Don't worry so much. Of course. I don't. They make a mockery of New Homestead culture. And on top of it, they're reckless. It's like I said before, I feel like I'm treating them more often than our own people. Actually, maybe there is. I have an idea that may be best suited for someone relatively unknown, instead of myself. I've got a mountain of work and a reputation to maintain. So I bought a realistic monster costume. The plan was to wear it, scare tourists away, and start a rumor about terrible creatures living on Titan. I figure that once word gets around, tourism will take enough of a dive to give me some relief. Oh, good. I was hoping not to have to do it myself, so I'm glad to have a volunteer. Here's the costume. I think this will work best on the surface, so just find a group and run up to them, acting like a convincing alien monster. With any luck, they'll run screaming and book the next flight out of here.
You'll never catch me!
I could really go for some of Anya's cooking over at the Brown Horse.
Off-worlders always ask how I can live here. I wonder how they can live anywhere else.
Did you know that Earth had all sorts of cool animals?
This is a boring assignment, but let's keep it that way.
New Homestead is a living history exhibit. But the thing is,
Run! Run away!
Feel free to look around, but do not touch.
What does your scanner reveal?
You get used to the method processes now.
Out there. Always nice seeing a new face.
Do you have a spaceship? I want to have a spaceship when I'm older. They're so cool.
Well, I'll bet they won't be coming back anytime soon. Thank you. With any luck, I'll be able to give more attention to my regular patients now. Tell you what, if you want to come back later and do this for me a couple more times, I'll even let you keep the costume.
Have any questions so far? I'm not sure the exact count, but New Homestead is a fairly small colony. What you see is what you get for the most part, except for some other people who live in the private lower levels. Some, particularly security, and yours truly, even commute from other worlds. The original Titan astrobase had more habitation pods on the surface connected to some of the old structures you may have seen in the back. As the colony grew, the base was expanded underground, and those hab units were recycled into materials used down here. Sadly, it's difficult to get additional construction done inside these underground caverns. So for now, additional populations are housed in these stacks of old shipping crates. As you might expect, this is where some of the less wealthy can afford to live. It's not glamorous, but they are functional and cozy. Oh, sure, I'll be here waiting. The locals love to talk with tourists. Have any questions so far? Alrighty. We'll be taking the residential elevator to the farms area on the surface level. This way, please. Let's leave these good people alone for now and go check out the farms. Follow me up the elevator.
The people here live a simple life. Try not to complicate it.
I don't mind the tourists. They help the local economy.
New Homestead's farms are the beating heart of the colony. Without them, the original outpost would have shriveled and died.
I will not aid you in this.
You get used to the methane
New
processing
Homestead's
smell.
farms are the beating heart of the colony. Without them, the original outpost would have shriveled and died. These pods are sealed and climate controlled, the perfect environment for growing the hydroponic vegetation needed for survival in the early days of the colony. Any questions about the farms? These days, it's a mix of what you find elsewhere in the galaxy, but in the olden days, it was all brought over from Earth. It was a lot of hardy root vegetables like potatoes, carrots, beets, and such, supplemented with corn, peas, green beans, soy, etc., which didn't always grow as well. Good question. It's largely the same, because this was the colony that pioneered the techniques you see elsewhere. But you'll notice that the farms here are smaller and staffed by humans, not robots. Things here are a little more old-fashioned compared to some of the large factory farms you'll find elsewhere in the settled systems. Oh, they are indeed. Colonists still cultivate plant-based food for their own consumption here in New Homestead. It's less vital to their survival these days, as they also import supplemental food from other colonies, including meats, dairy, and synthetics. However, most citizens here take pride in a New Homestead-grown, sustainable diet. Onward it is! We'll be stopping by the Brown Horse Tavern later in the tour, which uses many of these locally sourced ingredients in their cooking. But for now, it's just a short way to our next stop. Follow me! So, the old biolabs are just on the other side of this building, believe it or not. We'll step on through the hallway there. They're not in use anymore, but the colony has faithfully recreated them as a historical exhibit, true to the original purpose of the
We were
Titan
learning about
Astrobase.
Jemison in my class the other day.
Sadly, they're undergoing some light renovation. Otherwise, there'd be interactive activities for kids to learn about how they used to search for microbial life here.
It's a little weird that people come here to see what early colony life was like. To me, it's just how we live.
Pardon the dust, but I can still answer some questions about the old Titan Astrobase biolabs. Oh, I'm sorry. I completely forgot to mention that. That's what this place was originally called. When NASA divested its interest in the Astrobase and turned it over to the people back in 2185, they renamed it New Homestead and established it as a historical site. Funny you should ask. Sadly, none. See, NASA funded the Titan Astrobase project because conditions seemed ripe for primordial life to form in Titan's methane pools. They tested many different sites, performed deep core ice drilling, and more, yet nothing turned up. Well, NASA defunded the xenobiology program in 2132, but a scientist by the name of Catherine Neely proposed research into advanced colony building on inhospitable worlds. So, by 2135, work began on what would ultimately set us all up to create habitats anywhere humans dared to explore. These very labs housed the computer systems used in that research. That and general storage for the colony. Lots of storage. You got it. On to our next stop. Next, we'll be heading outside, so make sure to check those seals on your suit because it's a bit chilly out there. We're going out into the frozen wastes of Titan to see what powers this planet. Watch your step outside, by the way. The ice can be slippery if you're not careful. The goal is to keep people out of Dr. Lakota's infirmary.
Welcome to New Homestead.
Anyway, where were we? Powering New Homestead. As you might imagine, generating energy was a real challenge back in the day because the technology was much more crude then. But crude or not, it was that technology that sustained the old Astrobase. And it might surprise you to learn that the same technology is still working today. The interesting thing about this old colony is that it's mostly powered by clean, renewable energy. You'll see one of the methods used on the horizon up ahead. That's right, New Homestead's famous wind farms. This spot was chosen for the colony in part because of its constant winds. These turbines have been integral to the colony's function since its establishment as a cheap, mostly reliable source of electricity. wind power, shall we? You're right. Most surface wind on Titan isn't too terribly strong, but here, the altitude and other conditions are perfect for sustained wind power. Like many worlds with atmosphere, the higher you go, the windier it gets. You're looking at a piece of history. Sure, wind power is used throughout the galaxy, but these people were able to make do with it for hundreds of years. It's impressive that was all they had back then, and still make it work to this day. Mostly. I'm sure you've noticed the occasional brownouts. I guess these old machines have a habit of freezing up, what with all the ice out here. There's some methane on reserve for critical life support systems, but everything else here is otherwise powered by the units you see here. Absolutely. Careful, though. I wouldn't stand too close to the turbines if I were you. So, let's talk about wind power, shall we? You're the boss. Let's go! Moving right along, we're going to learn about Titan's great natural resources. Titan is rich with hydrocarbons like methane and ethane. Surely you saw huge pools of this stuff on your descent into New Homestead. I like to think they add to the natural beauty of this world. Oh, of course, stay away from them because, like anything beautiful, they can be dangerous. Just like my last ex-wife's pet. She had this gorgeous, I don't know what you'd call it, creature. The guy that sold it to her couldn't tell her what it was or where it was from. I don't think it was even a legal sell, to be honest. The thing was very easy on the eyes. Feathers, all the colors of the rainbow. Nasty bite, though. Wound up in the hospital and almost lost my hand. Still not enough for her to get rid of the dang thing. Anyway, there's a reason she's my ex-wife. But enough about me. We were talking about methane and other resources, right? Can you believe it? Back in the 20th century on Earth, they used to fight wars over natural resources like this and petroleum. They have this whole moon here basically made of hydrocarbons in their own backyard. They just couldn't get to it. Incredible how far we've come. New Homestead is home to one of the oldest and largest methane processing plants in the settled system. Every year, UC engineers go through a painstaking, month-long maintenance process. It's how this place has remained operational as long as it has. I'm not going to take you too close to the machinery, liability and all, but I can still answer questions. Questions? Fire away! It's not as if they shut down for a month. It's not shut down at all, actually. See, this place is built with redundant systems, so they can shut it down piece by piece and suffer only a reduction in throughput. During that time, the UC gets more of its resources from other places, allowing New Homestead to maintain what it needs. Exports mostly, since this world is so methane rich and has the infrastructure for it, a lot of the UC's methane comes from Titan. Of course, new homesteaders use it themselves for everything from generating heat to turning it into breathable oxygen via modern science. No one's ever asked me that before. Something to do with methane-eating microbes, I believe? I honestly don't know. Sorry. Take your time. But... Questions? Fire away. Okie dokie, artichokey. There will be time for more later anyway. So, this next stop is a bit of an interesting one. I only recently made it part of the tour. Fun fact, it's also the only natural landmark on the tour. What we're about to see is a glacial spire we affectionately call Emir's Horn. This colus used to be named after a character in a popular fantasy novel, but it was changed a couple hundred years ago to avoid any potential litigation. Now, what's a colus, you might say? Colus derives from the Latin word for hill, and scientists only gave names to groups of hills on a planet's surface. So in reality, the term you hear more often is the plural, coles, with an E. You probably don't hear it very often where you're from, because it was usually a term reserved for unexplored planets, back when they didn't have the technology to describe what they were seeing firsthand. Because of that, the term is much more common in the Sol system, but you may still hear it occasionally in reference to uncharted worlds. This planet's full of them, though, and they like to preserve that history here. So here it is, Emir's horn. You're free to take a closer look if you like. How about that? You really know your stuff. Maybe you should be the one giving the tour. I kid. I'm not sure. I heard someone say that before. Something about the worn-down remains of an ancient volcano producing ice via steam? I don't know. It sounds like you understand this stuff better than I do. According to ancient Norse mythology, Ymir was the first Jotun, a frost giant. In the legend, they were both male and female and gave birth to the progenitors of all giants from their armpits. Ymir even predated the Norse gods, who, as it turns out, killed Ymir to fashion the earth and all of humanity from the corpse. It's a fascinating story, and the horn here is a fitting tribute to it. Just be careful!
See anything useful?
So here it is. Excellent. On to the next stop then. So, we're gonna head back inside through the methane processing plant. Try not to touch anything on your way. We want to make sure to respect Dr. Lakota's wishes to be safer around here. Ah, that brings me to another point. You'll notice the people around here have last names related to where their families originated from on Earth, as a way to remember the past. The museum curator, Maurice Leon, has more information about that if you're interested. You can find him inside the main concourse. Loves talking about it. You'll find most of the locals here are very friendly to tourists like yourself. Tourism is a major draw to this colony these days, and they respect that. Most of them are happy to talk at length about what they do here. Their rugged lifestyle is a point of pride for a lot of these folks.
Sure would be nice to get off world sometime. Just got a message. Looks like we got another leak in Sector 3.
Again? That's the second time this month.
I know. I'll send someone to go patch it up again. We do what we gotta do until we can get the approval to replace the whole unit.
Well, the leaks haven't been too bad, and it's...
This area we're walking through is the nerve center of the plant, where technicians keep an eye on the operation. Since methane production is such an important part of the colony's livelihood, it's important that the techs notice any issues and react to them quickly. Anyway, we're headed into the ice mines. It's a natural spring where water bubbles up from deep below, but due to the cold, it keeps freezing as it reaches the surface.
Enjoy your visit here.
Lots of history here.
find myself suddenly very grateful for our accommodations in the lodge.
What else can I tell you about the ice mines? I wouldn't recommend it. First, it's an active work site. Second, it still needs to be filtered and checked for contaminants. But don't worry, we'll stop somewhere for refreshments before the tour is over. Good question. I believe it has something to do with not wanting to contaminate the water with methane and other chemicals. The ice helps prevent impurities in the water. At least this is what I've been told. Not all. Some water is created as a byproduct of methane processing, but that's usually saved in the emergency reserves. Of course, watch your step.
Will not be a part of this.
Mine and I shouldn't have methane.
What else can I tell? I wouldn't but don't worry. Good question. The ice helps prevent. Not all. Sounds good. We have just one more stop before we're done with the tour, and it just happens to be my favorite. This colony is home to the longest-running establishment still in existence, the Brown Horse Tavern. The Brown Horse started as a simple mess hall for the scientists and workers when the underground was built, but it's been operated by the same family ever since. Now, what's a horse, you might say? They were a large four-legged animal on Earth, often used for transportation or manual labor. Long before space travel was even a dream for the folks of Earth, even before antique machines like automobiles were possible, horses could be found everywhere. You might have seen them in old movies or read about them somewhere. If not, I highly recommend looking into them sometime. They're beautiful animals. The tavern's original owner was infatuated with them, from what I understand, and named the place in their honor. The moniker, Brown Horse Tavern, is also a throwback to names of similar Earth restaurants hundreds of years before it was established.
Don't stay outside for too long here on Titan. You'll freeze solid without the proper protection.
That delicious smell is making me hungry. Can I answer anything about the brown horse? Anya Seattle is the current owner of the brown horse. It's been in the Seattle family for generations. But Anya will be able to tell you more herself. Feel free to ask her. It doesn't feel right coming from me when she's standing right over there. Ooh, that's a tough one. I honestly love everything Anya serves here. I'd be doing her a disservice to recommend one dish over another. You want the real answer? Order one of everything. Easy. All the other ones fell to ruin when we abandoned Earth. There were technically older ones on Mars, but those have long since shuttered or been replaced. Okay then. All right, we're headed to the last stop. Right back where we began. Feel free to check out the museum exhibit in the main concourse here. These displays are full of rare Earth trinkets salvaged from before humanity left, and Maurice is happy to talk about the collection. The museum's curator, Maurice, will be happy to talk to you if you want to know more. Well, that's that! I hope you enjoyed Starsap tours as much as I enjoy giving them. Oh, wow. I really appreciate it. You know, I rely on tips from good people like you, so thank you from the bottom of my heart. Enjoy the rest of your stay in New Homestead.
Perhaps in the future we could skip the extra steps and just set your cred stick on fire directly?
Take care!
We live a simple life on New Homestead.
Did you know the museum here is full of old Earth artifacts? Cool, huh?
Come to New Homestead for the history. Stay for the quaint charm.
We take vandalism seriously here. You don't mess with history.
Adrian, what can I do for you today, young lady?
I was just
Hello.
wondering if... you maybe had, you know... someone maybe...
Hey, Kate, you don't have to be nervous about asking. If I've got any freebies. I know you don't have a lot of money. We'll always take care of you. I bought something up that's worth really cheap.
Boy, am I glad they have a junks here.
Just keep on being you.
To lay eyes on the earth just once.
Enjoy your visit here.
I could really go for some of Anya's cooking over the brown horse.
We used to get more tourists than we do these days.
Must be nice to be able to afford to travel, huh?
I don't mind the tourists. They help the local economy.
Ah! I just have so much energy. I want to run around.
Off-worlders always ask, if you need medical attention, see Dr. Lakota. But a word of warning, she really doesn't care for tourists.
Those folks in Sidonia may be closer to Earth, but we do a better job preserving its traditions. Those folks in Sidonia may be closer to Earth, but we do a better job preserving its traditions.
You get used to the methane processing smell after a while.
Careful. There are some dangerous areas around here that are not part of any tours.
I don't mind the tourists. They help the local economy.
Sure would be nice to get off-world sometime.
Let me know if you have any other questions.
It'd be nice to get away for a while, but it's difficult.
Hello.
Welcome to New Homestead.
It's not easy keeping these ancient turbines going. I wish more people realized that.
Hi. Me? I guess? My therapist told me I should try recording notes to myself as a way to, cope with this drastic life change. I guess the goal is to look back on it later and see progress. Anyway, I've been living here in New Homestead for, 3 months now? And it hasn't been easy. The locals are a little wary of people coming in from the outside, but they know they need me here because their previous power systems manager died unexpectedly. Got stuck out in the cold with a suit puncture. Alcohol may have been involved. Remind me not to make that same mistake. Where was I? So, I decided to go all in and change my family name to show these people I'm serious about their home. Caused some drama with my parents, but ultimately, they understand. And to be honest, I kind of like it. I've always loved the history of this place, from its inception as an outpost searching for life, to researching how to build colonies on harsh worlds, and now as a living history museum. It's really... crap. The lights are struggling to stay on again. Well, back to fixing this place. Talk to you, me, later.
I love this moon and its people. Oh, hello there. Are you here about the brownouts? That's usually the only reason people come up here to talk to me, since I'm the power system manager here. Yes, the power shortages we're experiencing. Haven't you seen the flickering lights? This equipment is all very old, and the protections against the cold have worn down, so now? Brownouts. All the time. And I get to deal with it. Hooray for me. Oh. Yep, I get it all right. Yes, I'm in charge of the electrical power here. We generate a lot of wind-based power here on Titan, which is my specialty, so I was tapped to help navigate all the unique challenges we face here. Shocking, I know. Of course you did. That's okay. It's a problem here. Citizens and visitors alike have a right to know what's going on and when to expect a fix. Problem is, I don't know how long we'll have to deal with this, because I'm needed here to oversee the whole system, and we don't currently have anyone available to go out and solve the issue at the moment. Well, I just started this job a few months ago, but I'm loving it, despite all the small frustrations of working on ancient equipment. I came here as a child and did one of the tours. I loved it so much, I jumped at the chance to come back after finishing my studies in energy science. I know it may sound unusual, but I knew what I was getting into with Titan's harsh surface. The challenge is actually one of the things that attracted me to the job. No, New Atlantis, born and raised. It's okay though. I've always liked this quaint little moon. Not that it's actually that little as far as moons go. The people here were a little wary of someone coming in from the outside, but once I changed my name in accordance with their local customs, it went a long way to build trust. And that was fine by me. I feel proud, taking on the name of the Earth City my family came from many, many years ago. Something wrong? Did you see those huge wind turbines out there on your way in? They're our primary source of power generation. Titan's strong winds provide an almost constant source of power, as long as we can keep the machinery from icing over. Actually, that's not a bad idea. I'm a little new to the job, and I'll admit I'm struggling a little bit. I could use some help. So I really want to impress everyone and show them I can handle this. But the power equipment is ancient and in need of replacement, if I'm being honest. We just don't have the money in the budget right now to do it. The previous technician was adamant that it was better to repair than replace. So he never submitted any replacement plans for budget considerations. We have to wait for next year. I could use someone who's handy with a laser cutter to break up the ice that's formed on some of the power system machinery out there. That should clear up the shorts we've been experiencing and stop the brownouts. Does that sound like something you can do? Oh, thank you. I guess I'm lucky you showed up then. Just be careful not to hurt yourself or the equipment. I'll continue to monitor things from here.
stay outside for...
We take vandalism seriously here. You don't mess with history.
I could really go for some of Anya's cooking over at the Brown Horse.
Lots of history here, if you're into that sort of thing.
Our. I'm glad to see you're happy.
New homestead is a history exhibit. Feel free to look around, but do not touch.
Careful not to damage. I'm really glad you're. Good work. I should be able to take it from here. Thanks. I hope this lasts a little longer than last time. Some of the locals dislike tourists, but bye.
There may not be life here, but we should still be cautious.
your enemies might disagree.
Come then. Meet. Another one down. And once again, we are triumphant. long as the... Always looking for the next mark.
Always worth checking. Never know what you might find in their pockets. Let us hope whatever experiments were going on here are not running loose.
Remote lab facilities are sometimes set up to engage in activities that are dangerous, illegal, or both.
Best not to leave anything useful behind. Hope you can succeed at that before we are discovered. Did they have anything of value?
Something's out there.
Cover me! I will never get tired of that. Glad you're in the fleet. If you want.
Hopefully there is something of value here.
Always a satisfying moment to return to your ship.
Captain, do you require my assistance?
shot.
Spoils of victory. Hopefully they amount to something.
Please disregard. I attempted an informal greeting, but I am dissatisfied with the results.
I shall stand guard while you focus.
in New Atlantis. Mind putting in a good word for me? I don't think my messages to SS...
Was there something you needed? Certainly. How may the traitor... You won't find a better...
scan for contraband, and you can be on your way. Be advised, you have been identified as you're on the wanted list. Halt and prepare to be boarded, or we will be forced to open fire. Copy that. Stay on course while we escort you in.
You stay on the straight and narrow. Nobody in here right now.
The Freestar Collective's got a reputation for being a little lawless. That is not so.
Drunk and disorderly is our #1 offense.
Aquila City is really the heart of the Freestar.
Welcome to the Co-Heritage Museum. I offer a brief tour, and I'm happy to discuss the city. Everything you see here is a piece of Aquila City's history. I hope you enjoyed your visit.
You may find yourself tiring abnormally fast. The difference in gravity can be hard to adjust to.
My husband. I think he would have liked what I've done here. He so loved books.
Yes? All right then.
If you want to purchase anything, just let me know. Or, certainly,